Well, let's see. Ladies and gentlemen, 4:40 p.m. We're running a little bit late, but Canoga Park, California from 2LaneLIVE Studios. Who do we got in the house?
We have special guest Matt Laidlaw today, and that's going to be a really great show. Can't wait to get into it.
Yeah, we're excited. We made a phone call or two, and actually he answered, and now we got him in studio, and he doesn't know what he's in for yet. But hey, if you haven't checked out our last drop, we did the Popes and Lilo on Route 66, and if you haven't checked out the Delgadillo story, the week prior's drop, you need to go check that stuff out. We'd love to get some comments on how you think that documentary style is working. Josh, you had a ton of comments today. You even posted some, did you not?
I sure did. We had a ton of good comments. I mean, it's a different vibe. It's maybe not what some of our people are used to, but I think everyone that's really with what we're doing understands it, enjoys it, appreciates it. So it's been cool to put that out. And as we said before, we're going to kind of implement some of those techniques even to our riding videos. So It's good stuff.
Well, it's interesting because I watched it last night again. Laura and I were watching it. She said, you got to check it out. And listening to what some of these business owners and these people and how they talked about America and how they thanked us. I actually, at the end, when I was watching it, I looked over at Laura and I go, did you just get choked up right there? She goes, yeah, I did. And I said, I personally got choked up knowing the video, but it was like hearing these people say how they love their country and how their businesses have 3 to 5 generations of people working and they're proud and work ethic. I mean, it made me feel so proud and I dug it.
Yeah, we actually had a couple comments saying that I didn't expect to get choked up on this one.
Yeah,
but it's pretty cool. I think we'll do 3 or 4 series like this year. We'll probably do a little bit more on Route 66, and then find a couple other unique places out there in the country. But and we also we put out yesterday and today our signature series shirt number 1 is going to be going off the grid as of 12 o'clock on Friday. Pre-order now because we aren't putting these back out, and you get the autograph postcard with it as well. So get your order, 2LaneLIVE.com.
They're almost sold out.
Yep.
So if you don't get, what is it? Number 1? What do we call it?
It's number 1.
Yeah, signature series number one.
Yep. You'll have to get number 2 and be behind.
Boom.
Yep, for sure.
But I'm stoked because with our busy schedule and all the trips that we have planned, I'm super excited to be doing a trip, and I know we're going to plan a trip or a few trips with Matt.
Heck yeah.
I mean, I don't know if you guys are familiar. I know most of you are. Matt has an awesome YouTube channel, and he's sitting with us, and we're going to have a great conversation with him.
Yeah, let's get into that a little bit.
Yeah, speaking of which, I'm going to run through a couple comments, and we'll get into it. We got Yogurt in the house, Eric Young. What's up, fellas, from Jacksonville, Florida. Gary Skepa says, Matt Laidlaw is the man. Very excited for this. Eric Young says, love your review videos, Mr. Laidlaw. John Anderson, love watching the SoCal bike vloggers. Daryl says, hey, guys, new documentary style is great. Love what you're doing. Great change of pace. We got Robert Razos in the house. Ed Hernandez, don't have a translation, but we appreciate you. Let's get to it.
All right. So,
Yes.
Matt.
So talk to us a little bit about, your channel is, you've got some bike review and you do some trips, but before we get more into the channel stuff, tell us a little bit about the dealership.
Yeah, definitely. So my grandpa, Bob Laidlaw, he started the dealership in 1958, and definitely the American success story, the American dream, as they call it, right? So he was working there. He got home from the Korean War, was working there. He was a big-time mechanic and wrench. That was kind of his craft at the time. And I believe the guy that owned the shop that he was working for got into some financial trouble and gave him the opportunity to buy the dealership. And
Wow.
he bought the dealership, I think it was like $25,000 or something
Wow.
like that. He bought the dealership in Rosemead, California is where it used to be, where it originated. And so he bought, his father helped him buy the dealership with some war bonds they
Wow.
cashed in. So his dad helped him buy it and come up with $26,000.
That's probably a lot back then.
It sure
A lot,
was.
definitely a lot back then. But yeah, it's funny now. You can't even buy a Road Glide special for that money anymore.
Right.
So
Yeah, isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
yeah, it's times have changed for sure. But then, yeah, ever since then, he worked there and ran the shop. It started off very humbly, and then in the early 60s, he moved just down the street, again, still in Rosemead. And then in the early 2000s, we moved to Baldwin Park into the building that we have right now. And so my dad and my uncle, so my dad is Jerry, my uncle Brent, they've worked there their entire lives. That's Bob's two sons. And now I work there. My brother works there as well. So we're like the third generation of Laidlaw.
I like that. So if we were on Route 66 and we stopped and talked to you guys, you'd have this family story, this American story, and generations. We dig that.
Well, I mean, he saw some of that today.
Right.
I mean, he met Lance, your son. He met
Right.
your wife. He met Lance's wife.
Yeah.
That was cool,
We've
by the
got
way.
generations over here.
That's very true.
Yeah.
Very true. We had one comment on our Instagram post, and this guy said that he loves watching your videos, and his wife and him sit down, and she really gets soothed and mellow with your voice.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So
That's the nice way of saying it, because most people say, yeah, the most monotone guy on YouTube.
But it works. It works in your videos because you have this, it fits your style.
well, maybe there's some voiceover work for him out there. I mean, it's L.A. for God's sakes.
Right.
Yeah, a lot of the videos I do voiceover stuff, a lot of moto vloggers do it in the moment on their helmet microphone. I never like that. I don't like the quality of it.
Right.
And I like to be able to like really think about my thoughts and give really clear, concise information.
Right.
And I guess sometimes when I'm sitting at my desk editing and stuff, I just get into this monotone mode.
It works. It works. I mean, we do our helmet conversations, and the only thing that we like about it for us is when we're riding and we're next to each other and Josh is filming us, you can actually see we're doing, you can tell we're really doing it. And it's clear, good audio stuff, but it
is good.
And we just sprinkle that in, but yeah.
But the only problem with it sometimes is we make mistakes on information, or I don't like where if you made a mistake, then you call it out with a thing, or to me it's like we made a mistake, so we own it.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just how it is. But I mean, there's so many different ways to do it. But I think one of the things I enjoy about your stuff is you've got this, like you're doing a release on the CVO, I think I saw on your...
Yeah, so the Road Glide, I just posted that this morning, the CVO Road Glide.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, I mean, this information about bikes and how cool that is. And then you'll take your guys out and gals, and you'll take them on a trip. Like most of your shop folks, we know Eric and some of the folks over there.
Yeah.
So it's cool to see that.
Yeah, thanks. I definitely have tried to get more of the trips and like road trips in the last 2 or 3 years. My channel is primarily based in just product knowledge, just teaching people about the bike and really helping people pick the best Harley for their needs and their riding habits is really the crux of my channel.
Right.
But, getting out there and showing people the open road, which is why I love your guys' channel so much, because that's the bulk of your channel is getting out there, showing people the beautiful country we live in and where they could ride. So, yeah.
It's fun. It's just, I love it.
You do.
Yeah.
You do.
Well, you took a Pan America out too, didn't you?
Yeah, so I bought a Pan America last year, getting super into that. A couple of the guys at the shop, my coworkers got one as well. So there's, I want to say 3 of us now that have Pan Americas in the dealership, and that's probably going to grow here soon. And we went to Joshua Tree recently.
Mm-hmm.
We have other plans to go. We'll probably do some Mojave Desert stuff. I know you guys were just there. So yeah, we got plans.
I mean, I was expecting something a little bit different. Being on a dirt bike, that's more like 300 pounds or whatever. Jumping on this bike at 560 with the cases being wider, and you're like on this kind of truck. But I was so impressed with how it handled and the size of the bike and what we could do on them.
Pretty comfortable.
It was pretty incredible to see.
We did take a tape measure though, because when we were coming back from Carson, we were like, wait, we can't go through traffic like we normally do. We got back and I measured the bagger and it was like 33. And then I went to the Pan, it was like 44. I'm like, they're almost a foot wider than a bagger.
I couldn't agree more, and that's actually one of the big challenges I've run into recently as well. When we were coming back from Joshua Tree, coming back west on the 10, we got into traffic, and it was a beast trying to split lanes on that
Oh.
thing.
Yeah.
So, yeah, not the best lane splitter if you got the bags on there, but
Well, we had to go around a gate, and Randy's like, okay, you got to take your bags off to fit around it. So you got to take the bags off, carry them up, and, you know. But hey,
Part of the adventure.
part of the
Right.
adventure.
Well, I'll tell you one
You
thing.
were pretty impressed, weren't you, over there?
With
With the
with
van?
with the bike in general, for sure. First, I mean, I took the bags off today to go take it back down to Carson, and it felt like I was on a sport bike again. I
Really?
was squeezing through stuff I wouldn't even try on a road glide.
yeah.
And it has, you know, being that it's a water cooled, high-ish revving motor, it definitely has that feel to it. But overall, I mean, I was super impressed with it. The weight that it is proportionally to a dirt bike, it doesn't feel like it's that much heavier when you're in the dirt. Of course, you're not going to put a foot out and whip around a berm or maybe take as slow of a speed going up more of a technical obstacle. But overall, I was super impressed. I mean, that was before any of us got in any sort of spills, and I was still a little loosey-goosey, a little more comfortable than maybe I should have been. I felt really nice on it. You know, just as I said before, being able to cover some miles on the road and then get on the dirt and do the same thing and go back and forth as you please, and it's limitless.
It's a whole new world that opens up.
For
well,
sure.
and all the different modes that you could put it in, you know.
Yep.
And you jump on the highway, put it in the highway mode, and you definitely feel the difference in the ride. And I mean, they've got a winner on this one, you know.
Yeah, they knocked it out of the park. I mean, they didn't just push something quickly into the market to try to get in there and capture some sales. They really waited until they had a really good,
Right.
refined product that competed at the highest level with the big boys. And, yeah, they nailed it. And, you know, we have customers that say, you know, I'm going to get one just to go to Alaska. You know, I took my Ultra Limited to Alaska, and it just wasn't the right bike, too much gravel, too much
Yeah.
of the elements
Right.
and stuff. And so they're getting Pan Americas and they're doing it. So it's really opened up a whole new world of riding.
Well, and it was really interesting too, because at every gas stop or at a restaurant, you know, people were coming up, what are those? And because we had 4 of them together,
Right.
and they were trying to wonder what the bikes were, and it's like, well, they're Harleys. And they're like, what?
Yeah.
And even at the last gas stop Josh and I were at, some guy came over and spent 10 minutes talking to us about the bikes, and
Yeah,
so they were showstoppers as well.
for
I
sure.
mean, I think they actually look really good too.
I dig them.
I love the front, the nose, and the tank.
What's interesting is in the rear view mirror at night, it looks like a bunch of road glides behind you.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, and I recently talked to Brad Richards, you know, who's the VP of design at Harley Davidson Motor Company, who had played a big part in the design. And it's interesting to hear him talk about how they wanted to definitely make something that was different style-wise than the herd of adventure bikes that are out
Right.
there right now. So it's very Harley. It's very unique to Harley. You see it going down the road, and you can know it's an adventure bike, but you definitely can identify that is the Harley. That's not some other manufacturer.
It almost looks like a stealth fighter jet or something. The way it's
Yeah.
squared off and has these cool lines. I dig it. Doing a little camera adjustment over there.
It's getting there. There we go. We're good.
All right.
Aha. So, how you've been doing your YouTube channel? How long?
So my YouTube channel officially started in 2007, but I started posting Harley Davidson content like back in like 2010. So yeah, a really long time now. It's taken me a lot of content, a lot of videos to kind of get to where I'm at right now.
So, you do trips, you ride miles. I mean, how often are you recycling your bikes?
My personal bikes?
Yeah.
You know, well, that's a good question. So I have 2 bikes right now. I have a Street Glide Special, a 2018 model year. It's the white one that has been in several of my videos. So I've had that for about 5 years now. So I'm probably coming to the end of that bike, but I did just purchase a Pan America last year. So I kind of spent the money on that, and I'm spending the money on that on accessories right now.
Right.
So, and I have that in addition to, for the first time in my life, I have, 2 Harleys, which is kind of nice.
Right.
So based on the trip I'm going on, it's going to get to pick my weapon
Right,
accordingly.
right.
But, the white Street Glide Special, I haven't announced this yet, but in the near future, guys, we'll see what happens. There could be
How many
change.
miles are on it?
This might be a little bit embarrassing to admit, but I've got like 20,000 miles on it,
Oh,
which
okay.
isn't a ton.
They're trip miles.
They're all trip. I try not to commute, although I'm on it right now. I try not to commute on it. I just try to have fun on that bike.
Right.
But I try not to put like the mindless commuter miles on it.
I mean, we ride every day. I mean,
Mhm.
to and from the office. So we like to have them here because people come here and want to sit on them and feel how the parts are.
Josh and I ride every day.
Yeah, I've actually been riding with my wife the last few days, but hey, we need a sidecar.
We sure
We're
do.
going to ask you.
But it's interesting too, because the work that you're doing and the time that you put in with the vlogs, we were talking a little bit about it before we went on camera, but I mean, you think about, like, I was in the financial services industry, and if I was part of Citibank, and how many employees we have and how many customers you have that can word of mouth and tell whether you're good, bad, or indifferent. If you give good service and decent pricing, you'll get referrals.
Mhm.
For us and for you, by jumping into this kind of vlogging game, that's been a vehicle for us to get out and actually talk about 2LaneLIVE or talk about Laidlaws and your bike reviews and capture new audience members and new, hopefully, supporters, customers.
Yeah.
Couldn't do it without this stuff.
Absolutely.
What do you do? A print ad somewhere, and who reads that anymore? Like,
Well,
Digital is the name of the game now.
Right.
And video content is the most engaging content you can put out there. So
Right.
to really get people's attention, they're seeing it, they're hearing it, and it's the way
and
to
if
go.
there's some quality behind it,
big time. I was just going to say real quick, Mark Jaycock says, I love Matt's review of the 2016 Pro Street Breakout so much that I bought one.
There you
Nice.
go.
She's-
2016, right on.
So and
Thanks.
there's definitely a lot more comments than we typically get, and it's all positive stuff around you. So
you wanna
Thanks,
throw
guys.
some
I
out
think the
Appreciate it.
there?
video content pays off.
You want to throw some
Yeah,
out
thanks,
there?
guys.
You got-
Appreciate it.
Yeah, we'll say, let's see. Tango says Matt's YouTube channel has 55 million views. Good stuff. We got That Girl Go-Go in the house.
Hey,
We got Jason
What's up?
Stretch from NorCal. The comments are going off. We also have probably about 12 to 15 lines. That's an argument. People going back and forth about your height. We got 6. This guy's Gears and Gadget says, Matt makes me feel like a little boy, and I'm 6'1".
Yeah, it's
Um,
Dan. What's up, Dan?
yo.
Yeah, I'm 6'6", and what's
Uh-huh.
up, Tango? I think Tango is
Yep.
Yes.
the
Yeah.
guys in charge of the AIM Expo.
Yeah.
So Matt went over and met my son and took a picture with him. And my son's 5'9", and Matt's 6'6", and Lance is like, wow, I really feel short.
that's okay.
Well, I'm not doing flips on dirt bikes either.
Yeah.
At 6'6". So there's pros and cons to being tall. That's for sure.
Right.
On an adventure bike, it's nice. 'Cause
I think it would be great on
it's
an adventure
very
bike.
nice on an adventure bike, being tall.
Huh.
So
So I'll be collecting all the bets as the bookie in this one. Let's see. He says Matt should sign your cast.
Well, when I have the
Right.
real one, he will.
yeah,
Yeah, buddy. Let's see what else we got here. Yeah, Bagger Daddy VA says Matt definitely inspired me to get my 2018 Street Glide Special and my brand new 2022 Pan America.
There we go.
Congrats,
That's awesome.
man.
We're making moves out here.
That's
So I
great.
guess-
that's cool. Congrats.
If you look at it, the three of us sitting right here, we're kind of a sales team for Harley Davidson, even though we're not, like in the dealership world.
Yeah,
You know,
but I mean, we get comments where people are saying, "I'm going to go buy a Harley because of what you're doing,"
Or I bought one.
or I bought one.
but the
but
thing
You
that
inspire people.
what our moniker, and I think he came up with this one. It was like, we're here to inspire you to go out and find the open road.
Yeah.
Well, after we've been doing this so long, when talking to people and meeting people, it's actually turned around. We're getting inspiration from all of our friends and families who watch. So we're even wanting to do more. It's pretty good.
Well, and it's contagious. I mean, they see you guys out there exploring, doing awesome things, documenting it. People want to be a part of it. And yeah, I mean, I said from the beginning, I love watching you guys' stuff because you're actually getting out there, experiencing it, the bad weather, the good weather,
Right.
going to some of these, national parks and monuments, Sturgis, things like that, and experiencing it. And
Right.
I feel like for a long time, especially when I first got into this business, that was kind of lost. And it's probably because not everybody had a camera on their cell phone nowadays, but just the way that media has blown up,
Right.
it just allows people to share their stories more now. And so to see, and no one's, I don't think, there aren't too many guys out there that really document awesome long road trips like you guys. And so the fact that you guys are doing it well, producing, like I feel like the last video you guys did was very high production. Nice job, Josh.
Thank you, sir.
So yeah, I think you guys got a cool things going on, and you definitely have a subscriber in me. So
and us and you, and it's interesting because we're like, you meet these people that like what you like we're sitting here with you, but we've met so many people through the time, and you have as well. It's pretty great out there. I always say there's more good people than bad.
Well, let's
agreed.
talk a little bit about, because there are some comments based on your photos of you being down, and I put a chest X-ray up today. So we love the Pan Americas, right?
Totally love it.
With the exception of that. So we'll just quickly kind of run through the first couple of days. So, and these bikes, they're adventure bikes. You can go down on them. But they're built so well that, you don't, they just handle the trauma pretty well.
yeah,
And we decided to do a little something different. We were going to jump on the pans, get on the dirt with Randy Cummins, and go have a blast, and we did. But the first day, it was getting late in the evening, and it was dark out. We were headed to a cabin that's off-grid, and we hear in the background, in the comms, that Lance is dumped into a sand pit, or of sorts of berm.
I was in a good sand section,
But
luckily.
it was soft, and it was pillowy and cushiony, and so us being us, Josh pulls out the phone. I don't know if you have any of that, and so we're kind of busting his chops.
Yeah,
right?
they were making fun of me. They were having their good time.
So this is not good karma time.
No, not at all.
So
I saw it coming
a quarter
too.
mile out, Josh and I are staggered. Again, it's dark, so it's hard to find your line.
But before you finish,
Yeah.
as I come around the corner, I see dust, and I see two Pan Americas and their taillights all not looking
Yeah.
like they're up on the road.
Yeah.
We weren't, because
So
you
I
hear
went-
us in the comms. So
We hit a little. Those roads were private roads. They don't get run very much, and there was just some deeper sand. As Randy would describe it, it's not sand at all. But if you were in shoes, it would be, your shoes would sink into it. But anyway, we're riding on the trail, ripped down, and I kind of roosted a little bit and ended up kind of trying to cross the lane to avoid a deeper pile of sand. But as physics ended up going, tires, deep sand, not big knobbies, not a straight wheel, just not a good equation there. So I went full torpedo mode into the side. I kind of scorpioned out, and my bike just shot down there, and Galen was just a couple feet behind me.
I'm looking ahead of me going, what the heck is going on here? So I get on the brakes, and I'm not slowing down. I'm getting closer to Josh and closer, and I'm like, I'm going to run over the top of him so maybe I should gas it, or I'm going to dump it. So I didn't want to hurt him any more than he was hurt, because I could hear him. And so I tossed it, and unfortunately, I landed more on my chest, and I felt it pop up, and there we go. We tried to pick the bikes up, but we had a good evening. The rest of the evening was great. It's just what happens in dirt occasionally. So I wouldn't. We've had some people say, "Oh, I'm afraid to do that now," and no, don't. You've got to go try things. And unfortunately, the second day, Lance is doing great. You all know that he hasn't been on dirt that much. You could see his confidence building. We're going up Chimney Peak Road, and he's roosting, and he's having a good time. We're doing drone shots. You were having a good time.
I was having a great time. And I got to say, if anyone wants to try a Pan America, they need to, because if you're a beginner or someone that hasn't been on dirt much, they're really fun to ride. They're very forgiving. They're strong. And if you do it on some mellow sections, you're going to be like, wow, I love this. I loved it on the street.
Yeah.
It ripped. So I was feeling great.
Yeah.
And we were getting up into the high country, and we didn't have breakfast because we had to hurry up and get out of the cabin. And I love coffee and breakfast, and
You mean your strength builder?
So now we're thinking of our burgers over at Grumpy's up in Kennedy Meadows. And we come around a corner, and there's probably 100 yards of ice. And hey, the rest is history. I went down, not fast, just laid it down. I would have been able to stand up, but I couldn't because I broke my leg.
And I don't know if you would have been able to stand up anyway on that section. I mean,
Yeah, it was
even
slippery.
some of the rescue people that came down almost fell just
Yes.
walking down.
I was like, you guys all need to help them move. But
Yeah.
You know what? I have a positive attitude in life, and I will get on that bike again, no problem. We're going to ride, whether we're on a side hack or
Yeah, we'll figure it
sidecar
out.
or whatever we're going to do. And I'm going to be back very quickly because it's just going to happen that way. I already worked from Aaron Baker, how he fixed his paralysis.
Yeah,
So I'm already focusing on the toes and getting that
gotcha.
healing going on there. But I got to say, I had so much fun. I had with the ambulance drivers, I must have bugged them all the way to Kern or
Yeah.
to the medical place. And then when I was in the hospital, I mean, I had to do it because I wanted to have fun with people. So I was complimenting people, meeting people, talking to people. I had all the administrators in the hospitals. Their chairs were all turned around. Some of them had YouTube on, checking out the channel. I mean, it was like...
So we should get hurt more often.
Right.
We
So
need our subscribers.
I turned it into a positive.
Thumbs up, mash the bell. Hey.
Because you got, these people are working hard. They're in the hospital there. They have traumas coming in. And now they got this guy in there that's shaking hands with everybody. And they're laughing. Now I got people just... It turned out fun.
I want to make sure people understand we're not backing away from Pan Americas. They're
Not at all.
great bikes. And we're lucky enough to have a relationship with Harley and that allows us to go do this stuff, and we'll get back on them again and go have some more fun.
We'll have to get Randy. We'll have to get Matt now.
mean,
For sure.
You were talking about even when you were riding, you get sand if you're diddling around with your GoPro.
Yep.
You can take a muncher.
Absolutely. It happens quick, especially
Yeah.
in sand. I mean, they are heavy bikes after all, and you get that much weight moving along, and yeah, you go down quick. That front wheel washes out quick.
Yeah.
So, yeah, but that being said, yeah, the Pan America is such a fun. And for me to mix it up, I mean, I've done the Harley on-road thing most of my life, and to have a change of scenery, a change of pace, and to explore all these roads that before were inaccessible, like, it's just rad. It just opens up the door to so many possibilities.
So you're married. You have children.
Yeah,
How many
3
kids do you have? 3 kids.
3 kids, yeah.
So is it hard to get out on trips?
It is. Yeah, I got to be like, all right, see, honey, I'm going to have fun. You take care of the kids while I'm out.
But
So
you take her sometimes too.
We do go riding often, yeah. We'll do local stuff periodically, go out to dinner or whatever. But yeah, this last year we went to Glacier National Park, did a big video on that with 2 of my
Incredible.
cousins and their wives.
That I remember seeing that.
So this year we're doing Tahoe with that same group.
Mhm.
Yeah, so
She's not afraid to ride.
no,
Would
on,
she
on
ever
the back.
want her own bike?
She didn't grow up riding motorcycles, and by the time we got married, like it wasn't a priority. I
Right.
think.
Our wives have zero desire other than sitting on the back
Yeah.
with us.
Right.
Which they love.
Yeah.
That's cool. Yeah.
So do you have a family network? Like if you and your wife are, hey, we're going to Tahoe. Grandma, mom, dad, like people that watch the kids.
Absolutely.
Perfect.
Yeah.
That's the best.
Yeah, we gotta talk real nice to them and be real nice to them because, yeah, ask them to take 3 days or 4 days or 5 days out of their busy schedule
Right.
to come down to be a babysitter.
Right.
Doesn't always go over so well, but if you ask enough in advance,
Yeah.
Well, I think we should do a trip with the wives, and I think we should do
Yeah.
a trip with the guys.
So
I agree.
have you got your route planned for the Tahoe trip?
Not
have you
really.
been up that direction at all?
I have not on the bikes really. We plan on just going around the lake, and
Yeah.
then I think there's a Sentinel Pass. Are you guys familiar with that road?
Kit Carson Pass,
Yeah.
Sentinel Pass. There's a few different.
There's a couple.
Yeah.
Yeah, is it Sentinel or
think-
Monitor Pass?
Watch our vlog on our video on that trip. We did South Lake Tahoe from Virginia
did?
City.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Okay, I don't
We
know if
saw
I've
a
seen that
flat
one.
rainbow.
It's a little bit older.
Oh, cool.
No,
I mean,
seriously.
It's crazy.
It's a rare
Okay.
flat Earth rainbow.
It's not flat Earth, but a rare flat rainbow.
flat Earth. Yeah, flat
And
rainbow.
Are you with
It's kind of like
Leatherman on
a
Yeah.
aurora borealis in a way, but you
So-
see it during daylight.
We come
Oh, that's
around this
cool.
corner, South Lake. It was raining. Clouds kind of break up. And there's pine trees. And Galen and I are just ripped around the corner. Josh is right behind us filming. Luckily, he was filming, and we all captured it. We see the lake, and it has this weird iridescent blue, and the clouds are on the mountain, and they kind of came off, and you saw snow. And we're all going, jaw drop. There was a rainbow laying on the lake.
Oh, rad.
And we're like, what is that? And just as we were so stoked, it was gone. But we caught it. You
Yeah,
can
we
see
got
it in the
we
video.
got it on the
I think
clip,
we
so-
also lost the drone on that one.
We
We
did.
Ouch.
we tried to get it didn't. Eventually got it back, but flew it out there, and the winds were so strong above the lake that I had to hop on I couldn't fly it back. So I got them going through that big rock tunnel, pretty rad shot from what I remember, and then I had to hop on your bike. You drove me down. I had to fly it perpendicular back to the road. Luckily got it back, but
Well,
was an
check out
eventful
our
trip.
Virginia City, and you'll see.
I will. I'm glad you told me about that.
But
We'll have
there's
to
a
get some
bunch of
ideas.
great riding up that direction. Even if you come down into Murphy's, Sonora, there's the 49.
Have you been there?
No.
Oh,
I've
man.
been to Virginia City.
Yeah,
Not on the bikes, but
But Sonora and what he said,
never been to
Murphy's,
Sonora.
spectacular
Never been there.
roads.
okay.
up on top of the hill ridge for miles.
But you could do Tahoe the one day and then come as you're working your way back. Don't go back the same way. Come down, go over Kit Carson Pass. Exceptional riding.
Okay.
Down into Murphy, spend the night there. It's a great little Mark Twain town.
Oh, cool.
Yeah,
Our
it's
wives
really
loved
cool.
it. They were
Right.
shopping, and
Yeah.
Nice. Cool. I'm glad that I brought that up.
Yeah.
I'll talk to you guys a little bit later. Too.
Yeah,
Get
we'll-
a little more details.
We'll
So
map
while-
it out for you.
While
Yeah,
we're
way
talking
to go.
about it, I guess I would say, Matt, what's the favorite ride you've been on? Whether it be because of the people or the location or the road.
I think my favorite location is probably PCH. In fact, we're probably going to do a PCH ride this year, all the way up to like Monterey or Santa Cruz or something like that. Like that section there that's super remote, like by Big Sur.
we have a drop on that too. We
Okay.
loved it up there.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I've done it before too. Not actually on the bikes in that area, but we're going to do that this year. So that's probably one of my favorite areas. But recent rides I've been on, Glacier, the Road to the Sun was incredible. That was a great ride. We did Zion, a lot of Southern Utah stuff. I really like a
Love
lot
it.
as
Yeah,
well.
beautiful.
Yeah, it's amazing.
You said you're going to go to the North Rim.
Yes. So this year we're going to do North Rim, Grand Canyon.
Have you
So-
been there before?
No, I have not.
You're
I know you guys
You're
did
gonna
that.
really like that.
It's so different than the South Rim, and no one's there. It's
We stayed
amazing.
at
That's
Jacob
what-
Lake Inn,
yeah.
but I would try to get a cabin up in the rim itself.
Okay.
'Cause
Hard to
it's
get.
Spectacular.
Really?
But really
Yeah.
cool if you can. There's just a big waiting list, but you
Yeah.
can easily get into Jacob Lake, which is 45 minutes to an hour
Yeah.
from on a beautiful road
But
with
I was-
bison.
I was saying
Yeah.
kind of the vibe of the North Rim is what you imagine a national park is like. Or maybe how national parks were 30 years ago. There's
Right.
not lines. There's not packed
Yep.
parking lots. There's just good views and great people.
It's 1,000
That's
feet.
what
It's
attracts me.
1,000 feet taller than the South Rim,
Okay.
and the South Rim kind of drops off like this. The North Rim kind of steps down. It has a different topography, but you stand there and you can see the South Rim where everyone goes from the. It's really cool.
There's
that's
there's
rad.
3 fingers, and every road you'll just be going, what? Like we did it more in the fall of the year, so maybe there weren't quite as many people. May should be good too, but we had it to ourselves, and it was just amazing riding through Quake and Aspen and willows and pines
a
and
lot of deer.
Nice. Yeah, you guys are getting me excited. Yeah, we're gonna do it early spring probably. So
And it's close.
yeah, it's not far at all.
I think Sweden's doing it at the end of May as well.
Yeah.
Oh, you're doing late April.
We're probably gonna do early April.
So make sure, because sometimes, did they close it? The whole thing was closed when you got up there, right?
I mean, you could
They
get there. The
typically
road was
close
open.
it October to May for cabins. Now Jacob Lake would be open.
They might leave the road open and you can go to the rim, but there
Okay.
won't be the restaurant or the stuff that's there. And it's very low key stuff. I mean, but
Mhm.
they board it up because they get 12 feet of snow, more than the South Rim. It's amazing.
Interesting. Okay, I'll have to look into that. Make sure that there's somewhere we can eat when we go there.
Yeah. Yeah.
You can eat at Jacob Lake.
Yeah.
Okay.
They got some killer campfire meals.
The-
What do they call them?
They have
Tinfoil.
tinfoil meals at Jacob Lake.
You know, like old scouts. Did you
Oh,
ever
yeah.
do that? Tinfoil
Oh, absolutely.
dinners?
Yeah. Eagle Scout in the
Yeah.
house here.
But we did a piece of that on a piece on Jacob Lake, and they were like 5 generations of family.
Yeah,
there.
it's
Oh, that's so
an
cool.
LDS family
Okay. Right on.
that started it. They were just trying to make a game preserve out of it, and didn't work. But people started going to the North Rim, so they had a little plot of land, and they drove their truck up with 50-gallon drums of gas, and would just pump gas for guys that were going by. Then they built a little one-room cabin, and it just started. They've got 110 rooms or something now.
Awesome.
It's
Have
just
you done the
amazing.
Moki Dugway or the Mexican Hat?
I think I've driven through it, but not on the bikes.
Mexican
Phenomenal.
Hat, like it's right past Monument Valley. It's in Utah. It's a really cool rock formation, but there's a hotel that's built into the side of the wall, and the San Juan River flows. It's down below you.
Oh, so that's cool.
There's some fun stuff out there. We
Very
usually do
cool.
that on the way to Sturgis. You've been
Nice.
to Sturgis a bunch.
Never been to Sturgis.
Really?
Never.
I know, yeah.
You should go check it out.
It's embarrassing to say. Oh, I will.
No, it's
I
not
will.
embarrassing.
But yeah, I never done Sturgis.
I mean, it's the journey there.
Yeah.
It's just wonderful. We've been up the coast through Oregon. We've been so many different ways. You can see on that map right there. But it's a great trip,
That's cool.
and everyone needs to do it.
Yeah, I was talking with Eric, actually, our technician, 1HD Tech, and we were talking about, I was like, hey, yeah, the guys at 2LaneLIVE want to do a ride with us sometime, and we should plan it. And Eric's like, I don't know if there's any rides they haven't done, so that might be tough.
No, it doesn't
So-
matter to me and us, I think.
It matters to me. I don't want to do things.
See,
like that.
if I watch a movie, I like to watch it 5 or 6
I
times.
don't.
So I see different
Unless
things.
it's like Patriot or like.
You just like to
Great
ride.
movie.
You don't care.
The country's only so big, Galen, so you
Yeah.
got to do duplicates at some point.
But it's trippy because we got to go from Milwaukee to Maine, and we were standing at the farthest north
Northeastern point.
at
I
a
saw
light
that video.
tower, looking at Nova Scotia, and we're so into history. It's like there's a graveyard over there in Nova Scotia where people from the Titanic are buried.
That's cool.
So it's like just amazing stuff.
So
Yeah, really cool.
we were lucky enough to do the release that happened here in January 26 or whatever it was. That had the new bikes come in. What's your take on all these? They made like one of the things that I noticed especially with the bagger, the T or ST.
Yeah.
I cannot believe that they shortened the fender because like the front fender on a bagger has been around forever, and
Yep.
that's the mainstay. It's even the old one to today still has a little bit of the vibe. You know what I mean?
100%. Yeah. And I can talk on this stuff all day long. It's what I do for a living. So you guys just cut me off. But
Great, no, go.
yeah, the model year launch is like my Christmas. It's like the best time of the year for me. I just love to see all the stuff that Harley Davidson comes out with. But yeah, the ST is a huge move for Harley Davidson. You got the Lowrider ST, which is on the Softail platform. Then you have the Road Glide and the Street Glide, which is more our language, I think,
Right.
in this room.
Right.
But yeah, we're seeing this huge shift in performance baggers, and so Harley Davidson is, thank goodness, catching on to this and building bikes that appeal to these guys, and it's a good platform. Even if the bagger isn't all-in performance bagger enough for you, it's a good starting platform. You
Right.
got Harley's biggest displacement from the factory at 117. You got little hints of performance inspired touches like the front fender.
Right.
Less weight potentially, I think is the big deal. Although, let's be honest, we're talking about an 840-pound
Right.
vehicle here. What's an extra 5 pounds off
Right.
the front? Although it adds up. If someone really wants to put the money in, you
Right.
can really get these. In the bagger racing or the
Yeah.
Moto America, King of the Baggers, we're seeing guys get these things down to, they're shaving 200 pounds,
Right.
300
Yeah, we're
pounds
friends
off these.
with Fueling, Luke Leatherman. I think his bike, what do you say, was 450, Josh? Do you remember?
Yeah.
Something along
Like
those
that's
lines.
400 pounds
That's
off
insane.
the bike.
Yeah, it's crazy.
But I think, we have really great friends in the stunting world.
Mm-hmm.
But not a lot of people can do a wheelie or can burn out like they can burn out. I think this new kind of platform with BRL and Moto America, with these baggers spinning around Laguna Seca and all these different, it blew me away when I first watched it. I could not believe, and he has what's Ben to you?
He's my nephew.
Nephew.
Ben Bostrom.
Mhm.
So Ben's on that bike and watching him
Oh,
go
that's your
through.
nephew?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Married
Watching
into the
him run
family.
that thing
Okay.
is just crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's incredible what these guys do on these baggers. And I did a couple of podcasts with some of the guys that were really instrumental in starting it, the Alloy Art guys and like Alex Fox
Yep.
and Rob Bidos. Anyways, it's interesting to hear them talk about showing up to Moto America and to Laguna Seca and what their reception was from the other guys, kind of like, who the hell are these guys on these big full dresser motorcycles?
Right.
Like, they're not going to be able to, these things aren't going to go fast. Like, why are they on a racetrack? And then proving them wrong, getting out there and cutting these pretty quick laps.
I heard the same. I heard some of the other riders were actually at the wall watching and couldn't believe.
Yeah. As soon as those things started ripping and like the
Yeah.
sound, the thunderous V twin sound, it got their attention. They started like, what's going on here? There might be something going here.
Right. Well, we say heavy bike, but even our stock with our parts that we put on them, these Road Glide specials, when you're on the road, they're like feathers.
Yeah.
They float, they rip,
They're well
so
balanced.
good.
Very well balanced. Harley's got it dialed.
So
Yeah.
fun to ride.
And they
Yeah.
even lowered them a few years ago a little bit just so that the shorter guy could get on them.
Right.
Yeah, for the weight and their capabilities and the stability out on the open road, the geometry, the front end, and everything, the balance, Harley has got it nailed. And they've been doing it for
Right, since
you know,
1903.
Right, you know, we've got almost 120 years now, so they've got some practice.
I've never once heard anyone from Europe say, I want to go ride Route 66 on anything else other than a Harley.
That's right.
You know, my grandmother would see any motorcycle and go, look at that Harley, even if it wasn't. You know.
Right.
So how about
Right.
the fairing on the Lowrider ST?
That, in my opinion, is probably the biggest new innovation in the model year.
I agree.
Last year we saw some huge ones with the Pan America and the Sportster S with the new RevMax motor. But yeah, that fairing, and this is something that me, my team at Laidlaw's Harley Davidson, we've been championing for a long time. You know, because so many guys are doing that in the dyno worlds, the club style dyno worlds.
Right.
You know, these guys. So we've been building bikes like that with aftermarket parts for a long time now, and to see it come out, and it's definitely the hotbed for that trend is in California, and to see Harley Davidson recognize it, see it as a potential big seller, and actually put in all the work and R&D to actually develop it and spit it out of the factory is very cool. Very
Definitely.
cool. So I haven't ridden it yet. I'm super excited about it. Our phone's been absolutely ringing off the hook about that bike. We stopped taking deposits at this point just because we don't know how many we're going to get.
Right.
And
Right.
There's not enough for everybody, unfortunately.
Well, Lance
so.
rode it during the launch, and he thought it was great.
Yeah.
Lucky
Yeah.
man.
And I noticed Pan America has been doing these, all their Instagram and stuff, even on Harley, is showing Lance and his buddy Riley in the riding up in the dunes and the mountains in Utah. And I didn't think they were going to show that because they're doing what most people probably wouldn't do on a Pan America.
Yeah, they were doing some hairy stuff up there.
But it looks good. He loved the ST.
Yeah,
He had
the
fun on
Lowrider
that.
ST.
Yeah, he had a good time on that. He has a
Cool.
CVO Road Glide. He has a Dyna. He has an FXR. He has the range.
Right.
And he pulls out the CVO when he goes on a trip with his wife. But hey, I could see him riding that one.
So what do we got over there?
Oh, we got tons of comments, probably more than I can sift through, but I'll try and pick out a few. John Anderson says, put the thrashing parts on an ST and lose 20 pounds. Well, it sounds like maybe something along those lines is going to happen.
Thanks,
And then
John.
Ty CVO Glide says, Matt, please tell me how all of us who bought Gunship Gray CVOs in 2018 should feel about them putting our one-off color on production bikes. I'm honestly a little butthurt by it.
So I can comment on that real quick. Watch my podcast I did with Brad Richards. It's probably 3 videos back. So the VP of design, I asked him that question because I've been getting that question a lot. He gives the official Harley Davidson response, and really in a nutshell, it just comes down to none of the CVO colors are exclusive forever, guys. I know a lot of people think that the CVO colors are forever exclusive, but they usually reintroduce them 3 or 4 or 5 years later. So, you know, it was the 18 model year that color came out. It's now reintroduced, so you got a block of time there where it was exclusive. But it's such a popular color, and there's so many people that want it and love it. And
It's one of my favorites.
It's rad, yeah. And to develop a color for Harley, people don't realize how long and how much money it takes to develop a color for Harley Davidson. So I get it. It's kind of stinks that now there's other people with the color of your bike, but you got to remember too, the Road Glide Special this year with the Gunship Gray is still not a CVO. The CVOs have so much stuff on them.
Right.
You know, all the detail that goes into a CVO.
Right.
It's still,
Galen's had a couple of them through the course of the time here.
yeah, you put a Special next to a CVO, and it's like,
Yeah.
you know,
You want
it's
some,
not the same
you want some
bike.
ice?
Huh?
You want some ice?
No, I'm good.
Cool. We had another one. We had a couple comments saying you guys got to bring Matt to Sturgis. D1 says Matt and his team on camera in Sturgis would be awesome to watch.
For sure, that would be rad.
Um,
The problem is taking everybody to Sturgis, then we
Yep.
have no one to sell bikes.
Yeah.
That's,
Right.
So
right.
like all these trips we do, we have to pack into, like, we leave early on Saturday after
Right.
we've been selling bikes all day, shoot out to, St. George sometimes. I think is where our
Right.
first stop will be when we go to the North Rim. and then we have to ride all day Sunday, and then come home on Monday.
Right,
So
right.
to get all my guys, and we have a great camaraderie, and I love filming with them. So all of our trips have to be this 2.5 day
Right.
trip.
Right.
So it kind of limit. I mean, we live in one of the best places in the world where we have all these cool places we can go to, but to do searches to everybody, probably not going to happen.
Everyone will be
Yeah.
gone. We usually go the first week. So we're there the first weekend, usually leave on Monday.
Yeah.
So it's the journey.
Yep. I have I guess a question for Matt before I can answer this question. Do you know if the gauge in the ST, the lowrider ST, in the clamp is the same as the Street Bob from 2018 to 2019?
Great question. I would say 95% yes.
Okay.
I haven't confirmed that, but just looking at it in the pictures, it looks identical. So I would say,
Cool.
yeah, more than
Because
likely.
they're asking if the Thrash and Street Bob clamp cutout gauge, kit, riser, extension, defibrillator. I don't know. I'm just making up words at this point, but
yes.
cool. So Lance said yes. That's from the man himself. And then I haven't seen your Pan America, but Michael McLemore says, I saw Matt's police Pan America. Any chance on Harley doing one? Did you do a police paint job?
Yeah, so
Badass.
it wasn't my personal one.
Gotcha.
I've got a Deadwood green one, much like your bike.
Yep.
But we did a like a spec, we built a bike for Harley Davidson. A concept bike is the word I'm looking for, and they wanted to gauge the interest of PDs across the country on is this a bike that you guys would be interested in Harley Davidson building?
Interesting.
So we built them one. I've got a video on my YouTube channel of this bike, and some of the guys from Harley Davidson have been taking it around the country and letting guys ride it and see what the interest is. And so far, the interest has been off the charts.
Yeah, I bet.
I think it'd be great.
I mean, someone
Yeah.
commented in our group, it looks like we're a bunch of cops, you know?
yeah. Well,
Just
We actually said that.
yeah.
there's
the ride, the geometry, the body angle,
yeah.
I'll
you
tell
could
you what.
probably slim the cases down a little
Yep.
bit so
Yeah,
they can
they'll
get through
have to.
traffic. But
Two of the skinny ones on it instead of
Yeah.
the big.
Yeah, I've had probably 4 or 5 different police departments reach out to me and want me to build them for them, and we're just not ready yet. So,
Right.
we're not set up to do it quite yet. That was just a one-off bike. But
Well, right now, at least out here, the police bikes, the Milwaukee 8s are all 107s. Now, I would have to believe that most sport bikes could get away from a 107, but from a Pan America that might not have a, a limiter on it, I think they could catch up a little bit quicker.
yeah, top speed on a Pan America is 130 miles an hour.
So
Yeah.
that engine on the other Harley, what is it in? It's the
The Sportster and the
Sportster,
Pan
Yeah,
America.
Sportster S, yeah.
Does it sound like the Pan America sounds, or did they do something to make it sound more?
The exhaust note is slightly different because they've got different exhaust systems on there. But, I mean, mechanically the motor is pretty much the same. The Sportster S has a little bit different head design. It's a narrower,
Yep.
it's a smaller port head
Gotcha.
design. But other
Well,
than
what
that,
were you going to say about the 130?
the Pan America does 130 miles an hour, and then as you guys probably found out, the Milwaukee 8s, they cut you off at about 110.
110.
Well,
yeah. But to correct you,
the-
Josh, it's 114 cubic inches on the police bikes.
Okay, I was just talking to a dealer out here that was fixing one. At least the one they had was a 107, but
Oh, okay. Maybe
Gotcha.
it's an older one because
Yep.
the newer ones have the 114 in them.
yeah, I think it was a 18, so
Okay.
that explains it.
But Harley
see.
puts the rev limiter on the Pan was 110 as well.
Yep.
No, on the Pan America.
Maybe because we were on pre-production.
Oh, you guys because you guys run the knobby tires.
Yeah.
Ah.
So the tires are spec'd for a certain speed, and when you put those
Not that we went that fast.
No, of course not. But yeah, if you have the regular tires on there, those tires are spec'd for higher speeds, and then so stock from the factory with those tires, it's 130. Not that I've ever been that fast. but
Right.
Yeah.
But we were also, I think 3 of the bikes were pre-production.
That could be a
So
factor
maybe
too.
that's part of the.
That could be, but I know when we put knobby tires on the Pan Americas, we have to flash the
So-
ECM or something where it
That's
limits.
probably what it
right.
was.
Yeah.
Because we were on the 50/50s.
Yep.
We got a question from the aggressive iguana. Question for Matt. Any advice on getting or starting a Harley-Davidson dealership? My dad and I are looking into it, but haven't seen much info other than what's on the application. Any advice would be appreciated.
So I'm probably not the best guy in the world to talk to this because my grandpa did it 65 years ago and I had nothing to do with it. But unfortunately, I hate saying this, but you got to have a lot of money. And at this point in time, like you gotta be worth a lot of money. And if you are, you fill out the application and then Harley goes to work. As far as I understand it, Harley then goes to work for you and tries to find a dealer that wants to sell. I think most of the country at this point, all the dealers and the territories are parsoned off. You're not going to just, hey, I want to put a new dealer here. Every dealer has its assigned territory, and so I would assume most of the territory in the United States is all spoken for at this point. So you'd have to take somebody else out to get in. So, yeah, a lot of money, fill out the application, and just hope that someone wants to sell is really my best advice.
Right.
Or invest in 2LaneLIVE, and
Yes.
There you go.
we'll sell aftermarket
We have our-
Harleys.
Well, something to
portfolio.
go back to, I was thinking of it when we were talking earlier. A lot of the younger people want to actually tour and see the country because we've had a lot of like Lance's friends say, we want to go with you guys on a trip because we just do this here and here, but we want to hit some miles. And a lot of them have had their Dynas and their FXRs and have stepped up and got baggers because they want to hit the open. That's where I think this ST will be a perfect bike for a lot of people.
100%. Yeah, I mean, a lot of the styling cues on that bike come from the Lowrider S, and the Lowrider S is extremely appealing among the younger
Well,
riders.
Josh rode that for a whole year and a half with
I
us.
had a standard lowrider, but it was built to a stage 4.
Nice.
Amazing bike. And to be honest, if that wasn't counting up in miles, because we did a good, nice number of miles in a year, and the ST was out, it's a tough call because the bagger platform is so much better at handling all the weight that we carry as well as passengers. If I didn't have a passenger as frequently and if I didn't carry as much camera gear, I would have got the Lowrider ST hands down.
I'll bet once you get your fairing, you're going to be like, I'm so dialed in with that Road King.
Oh, and even getting that 17-inch windshield, it's night and day.
Yeah.
It used to be on the way home ripping from here at night. It's a little chilly. I'm sitting there. I'm like, I love it. I'm on a motorcycle, but it's not as comfortable as the air pocket of a Road Glide.
Yeah.
And now I feel like I'm almost on one. So,
And you'll have so much more protection with that bigger fairing around, and you'll feel kind of what we feel.
well, I'm working on the prototype airbags in
Yeah.
there. So, all good.
Yeah, no
What
substitute.
else was on the...
John Anderson says, I like how Matt has the speed blurred out when talking about the Stage 4 builds out for a ride. Kevin Boxstan says, this might be my favorite bikers in the world. Thanks for a great show. Have you ever thought about a 2LaneLIVE membership mileage club? Let me throw this to you.
Well, we
guys,
actually
we have it. We have a mileage program. We already have the poker chips put together. And we have the program put out, but we just haven't released it yet. So you guys stay tuned.
It's on his board behind him. You can't see it.
Sign up
On
to
the
our
to-do
email
list.
newsletter at 2lanelife.com. We'll put that out in a blast hopefully soon.
Hey, with that being said, don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel and tell your friends to subscribe.
Whoa, was that an infomercial?
That was
In
just
the
a
middle?
quick spot in the middle there.
I thought we were supposed to do it at the beginning.
But I know we blew
We
it.
heard some,
I need to join the club, I guess, man. Start earning some poker chips here.
Let's do it.
You're part of the,
I like
the
it.
club already.
All right, thank you.
And Matt, I guess I got a personal question for you, or question regarding tech, is I can't stand the tank gauge, single gauge or a gauge on the tank on the Road King. If I got a Road Glide dual gauge, would that work? Because I've heard they're kind of married to the bike in a way.
Well, you'd have to have some way to mount it. So you want to
Well, I do a bar mount.
a bar mount? I believe that's possible, yeah.
Okay. As long
yeah.
as the electronics can work together.
Are they married
Yeah.
to the VIN number type of thing?
Or it's
Where you plug it
odometer
in
or
my bike, I
something, or-
couldn't plug it in your bike.
I don't understand that. That's come up, but like,
Well, because
what if you wanted to put iZone gauges in it?
Well, I know that, but like, let's say if you wanted another Road Glide cluster in yours, and I was going to give him mine, and I had 10,000 miles, and he had 100,000 miles, and all of a sudden he puts mine in there, and I don't know.
that's illegal, but
Yeah.
but
Right, that's what I mean. So it
yeah.
doesn't work.
Well, yeah, there's ways
You
that we
have
can
to
do it as
flash
a
it
as a
or map
dealership
it.
because things do happen where people get in accidents and we have to change gauges and put new ones on
So,
there, and we
yeah, I
get
guess
the
so.
odometer off there and we pre-program it into a new gauge and put it on the bike. But that question exactly, were we relocating the gauges on a Road King up to the bars? That's kind of technical. I'd have to look into that one.
Because once the Thrashing relocation kit comes out, I'll probably be doing that and planning on at least doing road glide gauges on the bars on the Road King. I'm not doing a head unit, I don't think, on the RP fairing, so we'll see.
I mean, how does it work if a guy's got 20,000 miles on the bike and he buys an iZone gauge?
Yeah, I don't know.
Well,
Does
if
he
you
have
get
to show?
You probably have to go to the dealership and have them flash that gauge.
I don't know.
I don't know if they have, because I mean, there's plenty of guys putting
Does
like
someone know out
Dakota
there?
Digital on there, and you just swap them out. I mean, sometimes
Yeah,
people
I
just
know.
aren't.
That's what I mean. But
Who knows?
so if you go to sell the bike and it's
only got 9 miles on it.
got 28 miles and it's really got 28,000 miles.
That's a felony. But,
Yeah.
I mean, it happens. Let's be honest. It
Yeah.
happens out
Yep.
there. But Harley does make it hard to just slap a new gauge on
Right.
there.
Right.
And so it's not easy to do that. We do it, like I said, on occasion, and we program it with the proper mileage in there. So, or sometimes guys will do it, and then just on their title, it will say not actual mileage on the title, which completely kills the value of your bike.
Right.
Yep.
But guys do it, and they sell them, and as long as you're aware that, hey, this isn't actual mileage, some people are okay with it.
Right.
So what do you attribute the longevity of Laidlaws to? Do you think?
Dude, I think a lot of it is just my family cares and just the reputation. My grandpa has just he was always there. He's not always there anymore. He's 91 years old now.
Wow.
Well, he will be in April, but we just work hard. It's just working hard, showing up to work, and just trying hard and putting in everything into the business, day in and day out.
I was going to answer that before him, and I was going to say family, and he answered it.
Just hard work and family, and
taking
just
off what he was saying. So
No,
now
no.
you have no
I should have
crystal
said
ball.
it.
You're lying.
I should have said
You're
it
lying.
first.
But I mean, you work with your family, and so
Right.
there's a bond there. And you take ownership of things, and you just work harder than you would
Right.
otherwise. So, and most of the dealership success isn't because of me; it's because of my grandpa and people that have come before me. But just the way we do business too. Just really transparent. Just really everyone that works there, a lot of them all ride, and
Right.
so guys that are passionate about it. It's more than just a job for us. So there's a lot of things.
But they built it. Your family built it. The time, grandparents, father, this and that. But now the stuff you're bringing to it with the YouTube channel, you're bringing the new into it to keep that thriving. So it's
I like to think so, yeah.
everything's part of the whole thing. Like
So when
Yeah.
did you start working in the dealership?
So on and off, like
Through
growing
high school
up,
and stuff?
like my dad
Yeah.
would call me up, like my dad would drag, and when I was in grade school or high school, he'd drag me in on a Saturday and have me do dealer trades or run to a different dealer for a part or something like that,
Right.
or trim the hedges, just
Yep.
the grunt work.
Yep.
And then after college, around like 2008, I started working there full time as a salesperson. But on and off there, I've done things like rentals there. I've done shipping and receiving there. I've just done a lot of the jobs. As I would come home from college for the summer, I'd work shipping and receiving for 3-4 months.
And will you do the same with your kids?
If they want, and if it's if everything kind of goes the way it is right now, yeah, they're young. My oldest is 7 years old, so we got a long time before.
Right.
And how about your brother? Does he have kids as well or no?
He does. Yeah, they're all pretty young as well. But yeah, potentially, we'll see what happens.
But I mean, for Gail and I, older guys that have been doing careers for a long time, our kids were telling us, and wives, you guys go so much and your trips are so awesome. And you come back and you tell us all these great stories. Why are you not vlogging it? And we're like, vlog? What does vlog mean? Oh, that's video blog,
Yeah.
So they kind of sparked us to,
He's old. I'm not that old.
he's old.
I knew what a vlog was.
Hey,
Hey, Rob still calls them vlogs. So he's 27 going on 60.
We'll do a vlog and put it on the
But
line.
finish your point. Now we do more social media than our kids.
We tease them. Our Instagrams have more numbers than yours, and it's
Well, you were telling me the story the other day where you were stopping at a gas station and more people were coming up to you when you had, your son Lance and
Cole.
he's an X Games star and
We
more
had
guys
an
are coming up to you.
X Games and Supercross star.
Yeah.
And Gail and I are standing there. People want to come up and get our autograph, and they're like,
That's so rad.
Lance called mom and said, It's so weird what's happening right now. You know.
Well, I was telling you earlier, Randy had to go up and get the stuff out of the cabin after our ride, and the fire crew that helped Lance allowed us to park one of the Pan Americas behind their gate at the station. So it was late. Randy and a couple guys show up, and all of a sudden the bay door opens, and they're about to go on a call. There's a guy that's having a heart attack, and two of the firemen jump out of the cab of the truck and said, "Hey, wait, don't go. We want your autograph." And they're like, "Wait, you've got a medical emergency." They're like, "He'll be okay. We want your autograph." And they're like, "We're not the guys that you want, but we'll pass it along." So we reached out to them yesterday. They were so great with him. And then they've got a brother or cousin in Florida, last name Trinidad, that follows us. So we'll sign some stuff and send it off. But it was funny to hear that.
It's cool to connect with people. You know, I have people coming in from around the world. I just had a friend of mine, Stefan. Shout out to Stefan if he's watching. He came in from Germany, and now we have just this cool professional relationship working, and we share stories. And he's actually started a YouTube channel. And
really,
yeah, and
it's amazing.
He's
right?
got a 19 CVO road glide where he documents his travels.
Does he still live there, or does he live here?
No, he lives in Germany. Yeah, but yeah, he comes out here all the time.
Wow.
So. It's just,
well,
it's
that
just
was
cool.
one of the interesting things too that we saw early on, and now a lot is people overseas. You know, we've got, I think there's 51 or 52 countries. We couldn't have done that. I mean, digital has put us, in everyone's, office, their computer, their living room, and you get a lot of comments around, "Hey, you helped us during the lockdown." It's been a crazy 18 months.
Yeah. Well, and to your point, they've got you in their pocket.
Yeah.
People just whip out their cell phone
Right.
and boom, now they're watching this, high quality content of American cruisers going across the country. And you talk about people from other countries. People, I think sometimes we take where we live for granted. People in other countries look at it like, oh my goodness, like when I was in rentals, people came here from all around the
Right.
world, spent tons of money. They saved up for years to go to the Route 66. People would come here from Europe and Australia and do Route 66, do Death Valley. And so being able to watch it, on your cell phone, like that's so cool.
Amazing.
Right. And well, one of the ladies we interviewed at Westside Lilo's, Lilo herself, 26 or 30 years ago, came from Germany.
No, I think it was
No.
in '62 she came from Germany or something like that.
She opened the restaurant, right?
Yeah,
So
26.
she came from Germany, her and her husband, with nothing. Ended up in Seligman.
Because her
And
dad
she
worked on
stayed
the
ever since.
Yeah,
Very
Dad was
cool.
on the
Santa
railroad.
Fe. Yep.
Santa Fe Railroad.
Yeah.
That's cool.
And you think of that town, you see busloads of people coming through, and today you don't. They've been 75% of their business is gone because of the restrictions that have
They'll
been
be
going on
back.
in the last 2 years.
That's tough.
And they've just had to knuckle down and get into their savings, and it's a sad state of affairs, which is kind of why we're trying to get out there and talk about this with people. Get back out, go check these little towns out, go have dinner there. There's actually great food, and meet the restaurant owners.
Yeah, I've been a huge advocate, during the whole lockdown and the pandemic. Like, this is the perfect time, especially if people working from home and things like that. And we're kind of coming to the end of it, hopefully. But, now's the perfect time to get out and ride.
Yep.
And go and explore the open road. And it's crazy what it's done to the recreational vehicle industry. Like, and not just motorcycles, but boats and side-by-sides. Like, it's
RVs.
going nuts right now. Like, people, because they couldn't go to the movie theaters or whatever else they used to do. And they couldn't go to work. And so it's like, let's go have fun,
Yep.
Life is short,
Right.
Let's go enjoy it.
Gotta live it.
You got any more comments you want to?
We'll start off with Jamie Woolley. Said he rode from Ohio to California in 2020 and got an oil change at Laidlaw's and met Matt.
Wow.
Boom.
Love it.
And then Tom DeBome Estrada says, Matt, what do you think Harley's going to do for the 120th anniversary? What are your predictions?
I really don't know. And I get in trouble for speculating sometimes. I don't want this video to get pulled down. But I would be willing to bet they're going to have an anniversary model. They're going to have a 120th anniversary model. Like everybody does. Yeah, that's not saying much, right? But,
It'll have a badge on it.
Yeah, I mean,
Right.
every year they have a special color. Last year they had that really cool blue. They called it Legendary Blue, which was one of my favorites. in my opinion, they don't always knock it out of the park on the anniversary colors.
Yeah.
2008 was kind of like, okay, it's all right. But anyways, yeah, they'll be numbered. They'll be serialized bikes, but that's what everybody knows they're going to come out with. So anything like behind the scenes, sorry, I don't really have anything. I'm not privy to that information.
It's going to be
I have a ton
electric
of-
super bike.
I have a ton of behind the scenes stuff, but I can't tell you.
Yeah, if you sign up for our Patreon, we'll give it to you for.
You guys probably already
$100 a
rode them,
month.
right?
Yeah.
You guys already rode the bikes.
Let's see. Seawick88. Hey guys, really enjoy your videos. Stay safe out there.
Thank you.
Let's see here. Two Wheels in Motion. Would Matt consider doing more on the Chicano movement in the West Coast? Maybe another Vikla event video.
Yeah, I get a
Maybe.
lot of questions about this. There's just not a whole lot of people and creators creating that, like Vikla, Chicano, like mostly Hispanic community type of way, and they customize their bikes. And we're just east of LA, and so we've the whole history of our dealership, we've gotten a ton of those
Really?
riders, and so yeah, we love that style. We embrace it. It's so cool, and so I've done a few of those videos. And so to answer your question, yes, I do have plans on doing more. It's just a matter of finding the right person and the right bike. I did one recently, an employee of ours, Vikla Chicla is what she goes by. Her name is Kelly, and she did one recently on a deluxe. But yeah, I'd like to do more of it. I think it's a culture and a way of customizing bikes that not a whole lot of people do, because it's not real prevalent in a lot of areas in the country. But LA, it's very popular, like the whole lowrider scene
Right.
in LA. So thanks for saying that. It's good to know people enjoy that content. So yes, I will do more of that in the future.
I'll tell you one thing. The one or two times I've seen that pop up on like the Explorer page of YouTube, insane amount of views.
Yeah,
Because if there's less creators putting it out, whatever's out there is going to get viewed.
agreed. Yeah. Yeah, I did this video where we went down Whittier Boulevard, which is like the birthplace of lowriders.
Right.
And we did this whole segment on just explaining the culture and everything. I think that video has 1 million views now.
Wow.
So it's one of the most popular videos I've ever done.
Wow.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And were you on that bike, or were you just filming the bikes?
No, I was on one of the bikes. Yeah,
Mhm.
it was funny how the whole thing came about, because we got several of that style of bike on trade, and so we had
Really?
we had a Road King, we had a Deluxe, we had a Heritage, all with the big fishtail exhaust, the ape hangers, the spoke wheels, white wall tires, and so we're like, dude, we should do a Vikla video, and so we went to Whittier Boulevard, like I mentioned, and we just did it, and we have some guys in our shop that are. One of them, Andrew. Shout out to Andrew. They grew up East LA area, and then it just kind of worked out. Steve, who's now our service manager, he's into that whole scene, and so yeah, they
That's
know a little
great.
bit more about it than I do.
Yeah.
I'm just a white boy when it comes to that stuff. So
Weddle.
right.
Costa says, question for Matt. Does he think the Ultra Limited Low will ever make a comeback?
I doubt it, but you never know. I think there just got to be too many of those big full dresser baggers. I mean, at one point there we had an Electroglide Classic, an Electroglide Ultra Limited, an Electroglide Classic Low, an Electroglide Limited Low. Like, it just got to be way too many bikes.
Right.
And so
Yeah.
there wasn't enough product differentiation and demand for a low version of that bike to warrant Harley Davidson making a completely new model, because you got to have the sales to justify having the models
Right.
in the lineup. So
Right.
For sure.
I
Well,
doubt it. There's
sure.
things you can do to modify a Limited, though, to get it down there and make
Yep.
it low. Shock, seat.
It's
Yep.
been interesting to see kind of how they've evolved the Softail platform. I mean, before it was Softail Street Bob 107. He had a Sport Glide eventually, 107. Lowrider Standard, Lowrider S. They have the Softail Standard now, and it seems like they're kind of doing the same thing and just focusing in on the important things and making those, 4 different bikes, if you will. I mean, they got Lowrider ST, they got Lowrider S, they have, are they doing a Street Bob in 22?
Yes, there's a
Okay.
Street Bob. Yeah, we got a bunch of them actually in stock right now. But yeah, it's very much the same as it was last year. Last year it had a pretty big overhaul. They put the 114 in the Street
Yep.
Bob last
Yep.
year. New graphics, passenger pillion, passenger pegs. So that it's gone unchanged this model year. But yeah, that's Street Bob has become a really big staple in the Harley lineup.
I mean, if I was going to have 2 Harley Davidsons,
What are you laughing at?
We had some funny comments. Let me see. Paul says, riding from South Florida to Sturgis, any tricks on staying awake? And Ty CVO Glad says, drugs, Paul, drugs.
Is caffeine a drug?
Sorry, I was
Eat your
cracking up.
breakfast, hit the road, stay hydrated,
Hydrated for sure. It's going to be hot. Might get,
and don't
rainy.
overdo it.
Yeah.
You
Take
get to a
your
point
time.
where you're tired, go check some stuff out.
And we got another one saying Matt's videos inspired their Street Glide purchase. So
Fantastic.
Nice. Thanks,
You know.
guys. Good to hear.
Awesome.
Thanks for watching.
What's our timing?
we are at an hour and 9.
Okay.
So only like 7 hours left, which is good.
I mean,
Um,
I know I wouldn't like to have a whole garage full of bikes because I think I would have a hard time picking what bike I'd want to ride. But if I had I love baggers, but if I had to right now this second, so what would be a second bike in my garage, I think it would be a Pan America.
I think I'd do the same. I didn't picture myself
Because
wanting one. I knew I'd enjoy it. But after riding it, I'm like, dude, I'd probably buy one of those before a dirt bike.
But you could
You know.
say, hey, we're going to Sturgis. We're going to ride these great roads. We're going to go on our road glide. Oh, wait, we're going to go here and we're going to take some dirt road that Galen's going to find for us. All right, Pan America. It wouldn't be a hard decision.
Yeah.
It'd be boom, boom.
Well,
No, but I got to tell you, it's a really different ride because you haven't experienced it yet when you get back on your bagger.
Right.
Because you have the mids versus
Right.
the full. I'm like going, where's my what's
we
happening
were
here?
talking about this. Yeah, I mean, there's something like the comfort level of bagger is
Yeah.
still better.
But it's like, I know what you're saying. I'll get on it and I'll be like, where's
it's
my...
like I heel shift. Where's my shifter? Like it,
Yeah, it's a little different animal,
you
but
watch the light.
yeah, the Pan America is a great second bike. I can speak from experience. Like it's so different. You know, I mean,
Right.
it's like what are you going to get, like a soft tail? Like it's
Right.
kind of like guys like us that put mileage on their bikes. You're not going to ride a soft tail.
Right.
So
I'd take that or Lance's Two Face.
You like
I
that one.
love that Dyna.
Speaking of which, he just hopped in. We got thrashing in the house.
All right.
Hey, what's up?
Honestly, though, between the Softail and the Road King, I was just as comfortable on the Softail.
Yeah,
I
that's
like
good to know.
I like the position. I like that the kind of backwards angle of the seat paired with the step up. If I had a Softail, obviously you'd probably want a bigger fairing.
But
I kinda-
you fit really
Yeah.
good on
You
the
had
soft
the
tail.
And I love-
monoshock and the wider tire. I mean, it
Yeah,
it
for
looked
sure.
comfortable.
I mean, if you had
Yeah.
either an FXRT fairing and lowers or the new Softail ST, I mean, you could go across the country. We did a 4,000-mile loop, and I had a quarter fairing that all it did was chop up my face. That
Yeah.
was before I did the Memphis Shade. And I kind of learned to, I guess, embrace the wind, but I also liked it. I mean, the one time I've ridden your bike, when we swapped that one day, I was like, holy, whatever, I'm going pretty quick because you're not getting that
Right.
that air, you
No
know.
chest
Well,
pressure.
Josh's first trip with us, we thought we ruined him because he was on a Yamaha what?
It was a Yamaha FZ07. The trunk was about big enough to fit a half a wallet.
So he was on this trip, went over Kit Carson Pass. He froze his tail off.
No, literally, his hands when we stopped at the top,
They were like
they were stuck to the grips.
seized up.
And then for like a month later, a couple of them had. So I'm sure we got a little frostbite on the end of them.
Dang.
So it's like,
Hyperventilating.
we're like, he won't want to go on any trips with us. But then right away, got rid of it and got the soft tail.
Yep. Well,
Yeah.
we went to Sturgis and I took Rob, the machinist, Street Bob.
Yes.
And before Sturgis, I think I had my FXR at the time. I can't remember, but didn't take that obviously. When we got back after a week or 10 days on the Street Bob, I hopped back on that Yamaha and I just hated it.
Yeah.
I did. The foot position was weird. I felt like I was on a monkey bike. But
Well-
before that, I was in love with it. But something about that low center of gravity and just
yeah.
So
You know.
we've known Josh for almost 2 years. Started off with the Yamaha, bought an FXR, bought his lowrider,
yep.
bought a Road King that was stolen. Whoever took it, if we find you.
I heard about that.
And then got another Road King. So you've had
Yeah, mom's
4
a hard-
Harleys and
Yeah, FXR, lowrider, both Road Kings. Yep.
in less than 2 years.
Right on. That's cool. Yeah, and the Softail, not to belittle it, it's a very capable bike out on the road, but when you compare it for long haul stuff to a bagger, like with the storage space of a bagger,
Yep.
just the way that the bagger is planted on the ground in high winds and just the fairing to deflect all the wind,
Right.
it's hard to pass up a
Oh,
touring
yeah.
chassis bike over a Softail if you're going on a lot of long mileage stuff.
Well, he took his soft tail on a lot of long mile stuff, but
Yeah.
he's enjoying the Road King.
And
I
I,
mean,
didn't think I'd like the Road Glide as much as I did.
Yep.
Because I like the bat fairing, and I like if I'm going on dirt, I like but that fixed fairing, it doesn't go the way you want it sometimes, but the pocket of air that you get with the windshields that we run, it's just, 5, 6, 800-mile days, easy.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you got to
All
have
day
that
long.
fairing up there, yeah.
And it's funny, I've had a chance to ride the Limited. We both have in different shoots, whether it's the Street Glide or the Road Glide. And I love my Road Glide. I probably wouldn't have a Street Glide. But in those big bikes, I actually like the Street Glide better because the stock bars that you're riding on them, the Street Glide feels great. The Road Glide, I kind of was like this.
Yep.
So I preferred the Street Glide, and it was very nice in the canyons and stuff.
And you right there just touched on something that I try to communicate almost every day. A lot of your choice in those two bikes, because there's a huge debate that I'm sure you guys have run into as well. Road Glide or Street Glide, which should I get? What's better? What's the difference? A lot of times I tell people, sit on it, and a lot of times it's the ergonomics. Which of the two have better ergonomics that fit you better,
Right.
and you like the leverage of the bars better.
Right.
And people don't think about that, and you experienced it firsthand.
Yeah.
So it's cool to hear you say it.
Someone said, "Hey, Josh, don't you have a relation to Lance?" And I'm like, "Nope. Sometimes people get me mixed up with his son. I am Josh Corey."
Yeah, exactly. So we have a guy we
What's
met.
your last name?
Sidon.
His name is Aaron Baker. He was an old Supercross guy
Is that where you're?
20 years ago. He broke his neck. He's paralyzed. Doctors told him, you're done. You're not going to feed yourself or do anything. Well, he came in our studio. He built a trike. He rides a trike.
Good for
His
him.
sister painted his toenails when he was in the hospital just to get at him. But he used that as focal point. That was the toe thing I used earlier of healing. And he had such a will. His name's Aaron Baker. He wants to go on a ride with us. We're probably going to take him to Carmel.
Nice.
We talked to Harley about getting a trike. And it's hard to get a COV bike and do some modifications on it. So we're probably going to end up taking his bike and do the Carmel trip.
It's an old Evo trike.
Cool.
So
He's got 2 left sprint car wheels as the back wheels on.
Right.
But he
And
walked into our studio.
We'll show you a picture when we're done.
Okay, yeah.
he had to hold on to Galen's shoulder, but he walked into our studio with his cane. He carries a cane and a scabbard on the side. And his attitude is so positive and everything. But we're going to go up. You said Carmel's your favorite. So he wants to go up there because he grew up
I
there.
thought you were asking him to modify a trike for us.
No.
Is that where you were headed, or no?
No, I think the
Oh.
main thing about the trike with Harley, we thought it would be a really great story for Harley to have a guy on a road trip on a trike.
Yeah.
And we understand their reasonings and stuff. And we just thought if we took him on a long trip on the bike he has, it might, if it ran in, like Lance has a rule with the guys going to Sturgis. If you have an FXR or Dyna, you're not going to Sturgis with us. You can go,
Unless you're
but you're not in our
Domston,
group. Because
Those
you need to have 200-mile range minimum of gas.
6 speed and a 200-mile range.
And you're not going to be
Yeah.
the guy breaking down. So
Yeah.
we'll do a closer trip. He has family. He grew up there. But we're going to do a very inspirational trip. And maybe it'll work out to where I'm in a sidecar with Galen sitting here with this and him. And we do show you how you can still have adventure.
I'll tow
if
you in a
don't
trailer,
Yeah.
You think of the footage we can get with that? Him
Oh, I
hanging
know.
out of the sidecar?
right? Give him a little
Right next to
10-foot
the
pole with a
road.
360 camera.
You know, Harley has a police sidecar they offer right now. So,
Really?
yeah. Yeah, I don't know how available it is to just sell to the general public, but I
Right.
know Harley makes a police sidecar. It looks pretty legit.
Huh.
So maybe you can get one of those somehow and rig it up to one of your bikes.
Matt Swidlin, you listening?
And that won't be a commonplace thing,
Right.
right?
No. It'll be a one-time till I'm ready to get on myself.
Well, he's got about an hour and a half or an hour ride down to San Clemente, so we should wrap up in the next few minutes. And you got any other comments?
I had one that I lost, but we'll take this one. 2LaneLIVE, do you guys plan on touring Europe? I live in Italy, and the Amalfi Coast is up there with big surf scenery. Highly recommend y'all coming out.
We do have plans in the future when everything's cool. We've been very fortunate to get invites from a lot of different people from around the world to come. Even, hey, come and stay at our house. We'll go on.
Australia, England,
So we,
Italy, Amalfi Coast. That would be awesome.
yes, we're on a
Amalfi
mission right
Coast.
now. We have to really get a lot of Americans to fall back in love with their country,
Canada.
and that's our goal right now. Shake hands with America and show people what they got.
Go see her again.
Yo.
You know, I
That's
saw
right, I like
I was
it.
watching the Book of Eli, laying on the couch with my broken leg, and they
With
said
Denzel.
something interesting. Someone said to Denzel and this other older guy, "You guys know what it was like in the world back, and no one else around here does. So you guys got to tell the story." And that kind of stuck with me. Like,
Yeah, it's cool.
I kind of feel like we're doing that, you know.
Absolutely, man.
So
I agree with you, man. Let's get Americans to fall back in love with America. We
Yeah.
have such an awesome country, and it doesn't always get painted in the awesome light that it is. So,
Yeah.
Well, we see, we're not in metropolitan areas mostly, but we're in the small towns where people are people, and you don't see any of the rhetoric. You don't see all the stuff that you see on social media, or even, unfortunately, today, mainstream news.
yeah.
It's just, where's the trusted source? You can't find it.
what they're saying, we're not experiencing. And
Right.
that's
Yeah.
a beautiful thing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
couldn't
we love it.
agree more.
So do you have anything that you want to close out with? Say, I mean, what's your YouTube channel again? So anyone that may not know you, but I know most people do.
All in the description as well.
Yeah, it's just Matt Laidlaw, my name. I just kept it simple, So, yeah, check me out. Obviously, if you guys are really into the road trips and seeing the beautiful countryside, you're going to see more of that on 2LaneLIVE. But if you're shopping for a bike or you just want product knowledge, every single year I try to review most of the significant models in the lineup. And if I miss a bike one year, you can go back 1 or 2 years and find it. So I just detail everything. A lot of guys come in to the dealership, they don't know what bike is right for them. And so by watching my videos, it's going to give you a really good idea of what bike is going to be best and suit you best for your type of riding.
Yeah, but with that being said, we're going to do something special one day where we merge that touring and bike knowledge and do a trip that will blow your minds.
For
I
2.5 days.
Right, for the
right.
days you have off.
Hey, you know what? I can go with just me, and take some time
We
off
could do
work.
that.
But, my guys might be a little bit sad, if I don't include them. But I could potentially
Well, we'll do
that,
one of
so.
each, one with you and one
Okay.
with your guys.
Okay, yeah, that
So,
sounds
and
good.
it's Laidlaw, Harley Davidson, and where is that located?
So Laidlaw Harley Davidson is located in Baldwin Park, California. So it's about 20 minutes east of downtown LA, off the 10 freeway.
Well, I was
So,
mentioning to
Well,
him
we're
that maybe
going to have
we
to
go.
ride over there one day when you heal up.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
if he has any kind of event there, I said we'll come down there and be there and
Where's your
hang
mic,
out and
Lance?
do some stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll make that happen.
No, I was just
It's
saying.
going to cost you
where's
a
your
couple
mic, Lance?
mics and a. Well, he has this set up down there.
No, his mic.
What about
Microphone.
it?
Oh, did I turn away from
He
my
said-
mic?
Where's,
Did
I'm
it-
messing with you. I'm busting your balls.
All right. Any parting comments?
Yeah. Dallas Turner says, thanks, Matt, for selling me a Road Glide special last year. Boom!
Thanks,
Yeah.
Dallas. Thanks for picking one up from our shop.
Parting
Well,
comments, yeah.
yeah.
I was just going to.
Well,
That's
like
gonna
we
ramble.
always say on every video, we have a new friend now. We have a friend everywhere we go. We have a new friend in Matt. So
I
Appreciate
just
that, guys.
personally like to thank you from 2LaneLIVE for coming over today. I know Thursdays are normally your edit days. And we planned this out a couple weeks in advance, but you've got a little bit of a trek home, so it's great that you were able to get over here and spend the time. And we'll hook you up with a little swag, and we'll get you out of some of the Harley stuff before you leave.
I appreciate that. Yeah, no, thanks for having me, guys. Like I said, I've been a fan. I've been watching your guys' stuff for over a year now, and so it's cool to be able to sit down with you guys. And I'm honestly not too looking forward to going home, because I'll probably hit traffic. So I'm in no rush. I prefer the open freeways going home. So
Yeah, me too.
right, I understand that.
Well, with that, what do they need to do?
Well, even though it's the end and we were taught that maybe this isn't the best, subscribe to our YouTube channel, subscribe to our website. Tell your friends to do that. Tell your grandma, your mom, everybody.
Stepsister.
Yes.
Give us a thumbs up, ring the bell, give us some comments. We really want to know how you like this new documentary stuff we're doing. We'd love to hear more about that. So
Let us
we
know.
do a see you down the road. So we'll do like 3, 2, 1 and see you down the road.
all right.
Ready? 3, 2, 1.
See you down the road.
See you down the road.
Yeah.
Robert Razzo started a rumor that we'll be going live with Matt and Sturgis. I had to do that before shutting that down.
It's
All right.
crazy out
Later,
there.
two
What
laners.
time is it? So is it traffic time?
6:04.